What up?
Ahoy hoy.
Everything A-okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I didn't say the right thing.
I said, can you hear me? And you went, oh. As though just the fact that you could hear me was a defeat. Like, we're going to have to do this stupid show. Dirty little monkey.
Monkey.
Monkey. You're a dirty little monkey.
I'm telling you, you're sitting on a gold mine.
See, my mind then went, my ass is a gold mine. Oh, yeah, I could sell my ass for a ton of money. And then, like, I started getting Weinstein and stuff, and I'm like, okay, let's reel it in.
Welcome to the Deadzone podcast. Deadzone is the sci-fi tabletop miniature skirmish game from Mantic Games. And now, here are your hosts Rob Harper and Jack Fyke. I am your announcer William Randolph Wintergreen.
Welcome to the 79th episode of Deadzone the podcast for January 2018. In this episode, we catch up on all that news that we missed over the holidays. And we even have some battle reports. As always, you can go to deadzonegame.podbean.com to see all the pictures, or you can go to youtube.com/c/Deadzone the podcast for the video version of this show. Now on to the episode. Welcome to Deadzone the podcast. This is episode 79. It is now January 2018. We made it to 2018, Jack. I'm Rob.
And I'm Jack.
And we made it in 2018. We're not dead yet.
No. And so in this episode, we studied the Quran. We're in the 6th surah, and we're going to...
No, it's the wrong show, Jack. You're not supposed to speak of that show on this one.
Oh, that's... Okay, that's a secret show.
That'd be funny if people actually try to find that show. It doesn't exist, people. That's what we want you to think. I'm so confused now, I don't even know if it exists.
And the best part is, this is going to be such a short show that all this will stand.
That's true. This is oh wait, no, this is a really long one because there's tons of news for some. Well, I guess not for some reason, but over the holidays, there was a lot of Mantic went crazy releasing newses. We haven't done this in a while. Our brains are still drunk from holidays. Yes,
multiple episodes of news is pluralized to newses. That's just science. You can't argue it.
Fact. Look it up. Yes, there's lots of news, anyways, and then we have some other things to speak of. But we'll start with the news as always. We're starting with the news as always, Jack.
No news.
Thank you. Jeez, we're all off. I didn't answer the Skype in the same way. It was just like
you've hated the news thing since after you stopped doing it, and the one time I decided to not mock you for it.
I know. It made me feel alone. Or is this the 2018 new Jack? He doesn't do the news.
That's true, but it kind of hurts my heart that you felt alone for that brief moment in time.
That's right. I felt unmocked. Anyways, news. Finally, this is big news because this is something we've known about, but we were under top secret. We couldn't talk about it. There was a new Deadzone book coming out. It's called Deadzone Outbreak.
What?
And it's going to be similar to the Clash of Kings books that Mantic's been putting out for Kings of War. And it's going to have tips for running tournaments and leagues on it. It also has new equipment and weapons. And it has updated and new scenarios for tournament play, which should be interesting. And updated faction lists. And it has all the latest changes in errata in it, which would be nice. And it also has something big that we've been waiting for forever. It's the Nameless faction. The Nameless faction is finally going to be released. And that's... it's going to be include all the minions from the Star Saga expansion, plus some brand new miniatures that will ensure they have an effective faction. And we expect to see a vehicle-like Nameless miniature and more. This is all from Mantic. So yes, we've been looking forward to the Nameless, and we haven't got the miniatures yet. They're in the Wave 2 of the Star Saga. We've only gotten one. I think we got, what was his name? The Fear or something like that? Terror. something like that.
Yeah. But we've been seeing the miniatures, the little squid guys, and we know what they look like. We know what's on the horizon. So that's and we're all looking forward to them.
Yep. Let's hope the rules committee don't screw it up like always.
Which we can pull the curtain back a little bit more and say that we already know that too. But
I don't know. I've heard other things now. So.
Oh no, we have to kibitz a bit. Rob, are you holding back?
Well, we're not allowed to say. We signed NDAs. Well, I signed an NDA. I shouldn't say that. For legal reasons, we both signed NDAs.
Well, yeah. Boy, oh boy.
Anyways, that's that book, I think, is supposedly coming out in the summer. We'll see if they actually put it out in the summer. But I'm very excited because we've been looking forward to that. And to have everything in one book again would be very nice. It's been spread out. People will be bitching about, oh, my old book's not effective anymore, but it's been like 2 years. Suck it up, buttercups.
Every 2 years, it's not like the game has stagnated to the point where it's just a money grab, codexes or anything like that. The game is evolving like at a astounding pace. They're adding new factions, they're adding new models. It's gonna have to happen, and it's nice in the interim that we get a Nexus Psi and we get FAQs when something does show that it's a bit broken. But eventually, you have to combine, you have to consolidate all that stuff, or else you're some poor dumb bastard trying to do team building exercise with 6 books in front of you while coach is telling you to hurry up, and then Rob's chastising you for missing a grenade, and then you just put a revolver in your mouth and hope that today's the day that it's on the right chamber.
Just speaking from experience, at least.
Oh no, I was just saying that
purely hypothetical.
A common occurrence. I have to assume that happens throughout the land.
Anyways, yes, it'll be nice to be all in one book again. And even though I think you're making a list of things that come up when we play games, but generally we don't really look in the book that much. Like we use Battlescribe or Mint America for our team building. So we never have to look in the book for that. It's very rare that we actually have to look in said book. Once in Blue Moon, we'll be like, how does this work? How do you do frags again? What's indirect? That kind of stuff. But
yeah, a couple of skills, and particularly those two. And then when we start breaking out things that we haven't used in a while, like, flight. Well,
it's things like that where it gets annoying because they are in separate books, and then you're like, which book was that in? I gotta remember where that was. Yeah. So it'll be nice to be all in one book, and I will be purchasing it, of course. Or Manta could just send it to us. Anyway, they also announced a Deadzone summer campaign, like last year they did, once again, the Kings of War one. And this one's planned to start in July. And it'll focus on the Nameless arriving in the world to try and colonize it. So I guess it's going to be some kind of incursion from the Nameless. Hopefully they're coming from somewhere else. That'd be kind of cool. And
well, I for one welcome our new Nameless overlords.
I know you do. But they also included things saying that the Forge Files will be there to get the Nameless tech. The GCPS want to monetize the Nameless resources. Marauders are there because they like fighting, and so on. So each faction will have a reason to be in the fight, which is kind of cool. And the plan is each week will focus on a new city as various factions work their way around this planet that's being invaded and causing all kind of havoc. And there will be a special website where people can upload their results and follow the progress of the campaign. I know last year it was King's War one was supposed to be done on the Beasts of War, but something happened and they fell through, or it was only partially done on Beast of War. So I think Mantic realized, well, we could just, I think they're probably working without them using their system, but doing it on their own website. I think that's the plan nowadays. So they're probably using the Beast of War system, but doing it themselves. Or they might be just making their own system, which will never work, because I know that it took a long time for the Beast of War guys to get that thing to actually work. So we'll see what happens when this actually starts to see how effective it is. But I have confidence that it'll be fun.
Yeah, keep it in house. You've got all the, all the control. Make sure it comes to fruition. It makes sense to have that much oversight.
Yeah, because I think with the Kings of War one, it was like it was supposed to start on a certain date, but never did, and then it was on 2 different sites, and it was kind of. Yeah, I think there was some communications issues. So yeah, doing it themselves, I think it'd be at least you can control it. Even if it is delayed, it's at least you know what's happening,
Those Irish.
Mantic also released test shots of the new Warpath vehicles. We do have a bunch of shots, and the best thing about these is we have comparison shots. All these can be found on what's the website again? It's been so long.
You just no one goes to the website anymore. It's on Podbean or something. Just go.
Deadzone.podbean.com. Also on YouTube. Watch it on YouTube, people.
Just watch it on YouTube.
The secret is that sometimes I put funny things on the YouTube videos. That's a secret.
If you ever want to see funny pictures of me that I don't know why Rob has or where they're from, but me as a baby, me eating a sandwich, some other ones, then yes, just watch that and then realize that a part of me dies every time that happens.
And the ghost horror might show up.
Yes. Well, by the end of this episode, I'm sure Rob will be plying his wares. I can hear his hands rubbing together from here. He's going to be shilling his whatever he's got going on.
I'm just waiting for you to say something that I can animate. That's all. So yeah, the first vehicle is the Mule, and it's a cool looking mule, and it's the looks like it's 3 printed wheels, but I think the body itself is the actual production version with a nice gun on top.
And like you said, for scale, they have it beside the Forgefather vehicle, which not everyone has. So like that doesn't, not everyone can go, oh, I have that because, but from between me and you, it's big.
Yeah, it's almost the same size as the Forgefather one.
Yeah, and the Forgefather's one is big.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's good size. I'd say it's I don't know, maybe 6 inches, maybe somewhere in there. I'm actually looking at it now, but it's across the room, so I'm not going to go pick it up. It's too far away.
I'm looking at one right now. It's across the desk, and right now I've got I'm reclined, just kind of resting.
This is the type of reporting you can get from us. It's too far away. Never mind.
Yeah. You can go to the other podcasts about Deadzone where they're wearing a flak jacket and they're in Beirut and really in the but we can't even unrecline to go pick up a model across the desk. We're one of you guys. We're just one of you guys.
Yeah, lazy.
Oh, okay.
Next one is the Hornet. I remember the name of it this time, and it looks good. And you add those fans on the wings. You can adjust them. And once again, they show it next to the Forgefather tank, and it is even bigger. It's not as big as the Enforcer plane. If I'm once again eyeballing it across the room, the two of them are somewhat near each other, and the Hornet looks a bit smaller than that, but it's quite large, anyways.
Yes, and I think once you see the Hornet beside the Interceptor or the Arbiter, because there's the variations, the Hornet is fat. It's thick. Mm-hmm. It's like how I like my women. It's got the hips and ass situation going on. The Interceptor is really narrow.
Yeah, it's more sleek. Yeah,
that it's not as big as the Chira though.
Yes, the next picture is the Chira or Chroma or whichever one this is, and this thing is huge. This one's actually it looks like I don't know if that's primed or just a different color plastic, but that's it's much darker. But it's this thing is a mammoth.
Yeah, it looks just the color, that not the gray for the turret from the drone or the cockpit, but if you're looking at the picture, that's like one wash away from being.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to come that color. It's almost the big stompy robot color from Mars Attacks.
Well, it looks like it would fit into the armies that we painted.
That's true. It's the that gunmetal-ish color.
Yeah, utilitarian metal, like we're robots and we're not into the pomp and circumstance.
Aesthetics don't matter.
Yeah, I'm not saying that I haven't thoroughly enjoyed people's paintings when they've done them like candy apple red and stuff like that, but that looks like you could put on the table with our Asterians and people would go, oh, that makes sense.
It's got a bigger version of the gun on top, and there is actually a comparison between the turret that you get within Asterians normally, the drone gun, and the one that's on the ship, and I'd say it's at least double size, maybe 3 up. It's quite a bit larger. Yeah.
But even just the wingspan, it doesn't have wings, so that's the wrong analogy.
The nacelle span.
Yeah, just its girth. It's girth. It's twice as thick as that Forge Father vehicle. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. I've liked it since the first time I've seen it, but now they've got a whole bunch of doodads attached to it, and a little you can see the big fins off the back, and it's better now. Like I'm looking at it, I'm more impressed now looking at it, and I've been looking forward to that vehicle for a long time.
Yeah, it looks awesome. And I think, you see that very front part of it? Take off the nacelles, take off the gun on the back. The front part with the little wings and stuff, that would make a cool little fighter.
So, something like,
like a little drone fighter that they could have flying around.
Now
think of that, Mantic.
Pod racing.
Yeah, that's right. So that is the test shots. And they also announced some releases in 2018. There is the Hornet and Mule, including Plague versions, coming out. And they have a nice shot of the GCPS versions of those. And I do like the Hornet with its twin-barreled Gatling laser or something on the front there. And the side opens up to be the troop transport. So it's almost like a Huey, where you can have guys hanging off the side and shooting out.
Yeah, it has that... instead of the troop transport from the other vehicle, it looks more like a ramp off the back. This has that, Flight of the Valkyries M60 out the side, just blasting away at the Vietnamese villagers. Yeah,
it'd be cool to put some of the heavy weapons teams, their guns on the sides there, poking out the side. Even take that ramp off. Maybe not even have the ramp, so it's always open on the sides. I wonder if both sides open.
Yeah.
I can see some modifications coming along.
Yeah. No, not even Flight of the Valkyries. Now I'm, the stones painted black.
More Tour of Duty, less. Less.
In my head, now. Still there are Vietnamese villagers being mowed down, but the music's just changed. That's the important part in the way my mind's working.
Nice. And we also have a painted version of the Chira transport, or the Chroma Force platform. So the Chroma is the one with the gun on top. And the Chira is the one that you can hang off marionettes from the back. I like the silver version better. This is like a bluish purple, but it's still very nicely painted. It looks actually, the way it's painted, it looks like a toy. Like you'd buy that in these color scheme from a Toys R Us.
It kind of does. Like you'd put it on a little base, and then the computer would recognize it.
Yeah.
And put the little guy he's made of rock, and you put him on another base, and then two anime characters play various cards until one is the victor, and you don't really know what's going on, but there's flashing lights.
And hopefully it doesn't cause seizures.
No. Or if it does, that might be part of the allure.
And we also have the Urban Pattern Iron Ancestor is back. He was available in the first Kickstarter way back when. And it's being made in resin in-house. And it's got another name now. It's called a Hellermaul. But this one's cool because his one arm actually has a clawed fist, which I think looks awesome. Put a hammer in that, and that's the way a Forge Father should hold his hammer.
And it looks like a flamethrower off the bottom and a clawed hand. And yeah, just having the Iron Ancestors available is nice, but now having the variations. I like the Iron Ancestor. They're quite a bit shorter than the Strider when you put them side by side.
That's the only bad part, yeah.
But yeah, I like it.
And they're also making the Veerman Tangle being made in resin in-house, so you'll be able to buy those. Currently, they are unavailable, but Jack does have one. And it was like metal and resin, right? Like, it was a weird mix.
It was quite a bit of it was metal, and because it was mixed medium, it was to get it to come together was difficult. It took a lot of. I don't mind the modeling, so it wasn't like a chore, but it didn't just go together organically.
Yeah. Yep. The mixed mediums suck, so it's good. Hopefully when this comes out, it's going to be all resin. And hopefully it's the stronger resin that they use. It's not the thin resin. Well, these are vehicles, so it'll be heavy duty resin.
Yeah, because even the struts, the looks like the rib cage of a long deceased like bomber airplane. These big metal struts that come up, they're pretty beefy. It's not like they're gonna be flimsy enough that resin will snap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's only in little flails and stuff on fantasy miniatures where you start snapping things.
Well, if only it was if my miniature breaking failures were relegated to just the fantasy miniatures, I would be a happier man. But no, I think I've damaged quite a few of our miniatures just in my gorilla hands.
Gorilla hands.
I'm a Dick Tracy villain now. Gorilla Hands is on the loose.
The next thing is the Terrain Crate Battle Zones, as they're now called. And these things are the rebranded Battle Zones. They're coming out with different variations. The first one's called a Landing Zone for £50 or $80 US. And it's like an old combination of the old Landing Zone with some more like a tower bit and a little square and then a defense line. So the old one used to have that big gun. It doesn't have the gun anymore, but it looks pretty useful. That'd be a nice addition to a board. That would actually fill up quite a bit of a Deadzone board. They're kind of marketing this one, I think, more towards Warpath, since it is so big.
Yeah, but if you built it, that's like getting a Lego set and then going, okay, let me see those instructions. I'm going to actually build a... no. You take that, go, hey, thanks. You stuff the instructions back in the box, throw it in the recycling, and go, I never want to see that again.
How dare you?
I'll see you in hell before I build it as instructed. You're not my dad.
And they also have something called the Battlefield Ruins set, which once again, this would be a nice, easy to make a bunch of scatter terrain with this thing. It's all the busted up parts from the sets. I don't remember. Look on the front wall here. There's a busted up wall, half wall there. Do we have one like that? I don't remember with a curve like that. This might be some slightly different things, or it's maybe just I never noticed it before.
Yeah, no, I've seen those before. That front wall is that piece that we used to build long walls out of, and then there's just just armored bits on that one, and yeah, all those things were in the yeah.
Well, it's nice to have some ruined terrain to fight through. I like the ruined terrain, actually. I think works better in gameplay because there's a lot more holes, and you can either fit through them or shoot through them. Whereas the solid stuff, we found sometimes that it's a little too solid.
The thing is, once you start mixing and matching, you can make a section that looks all busted up, war-torn, and you put it beside something that looks functional, and it just aesthetically, gameplay, one, offers a little bit more than the other. But it really works. That terrain is awesome to play with. Like it was a home run. I can see why they had to rebrand, and I can see why they've made the sets the way they have now. It took a little longer than I think I would have liked, but
yeah.
But it's dynamite. It works for Deadzone fantastically.
And the last set is Industrial Zone. Oh, the last set, sorry, I didn't mention, was only £25 or $40 for the destroyed one. The Industrial Zone is, once again, £50 or $80. And it's a little factory set with the fans and the conveyor belts and generators and stuff. Other than the doors, which don't fit very well, that we found, the corrugated doors, unless you glue them in, they pop off constantly. Other than that, I do like the grading and stuff on this industrial set that we have.
Yeah, the doors might have been my fault. I think if I would have got in there with a file or something and really just cleaned up a bit, because the layer of paint on the walls, and then you add layer of paint onto the doors, and the doors are nice. They look like a an industrial door you would raise and lower that's made of like segmented metal. But I think if I worked out a little bit more, I could have got them to fit.
And I do like this paint job, actually. It's really good. All the rust effects they've done on this. It looks really cool.
And the bright yellow and red, that would stand out. Like the best part about getting to terrain that like we did in fits and starts, we paint a little here, paint a little there. You paint some, I paint some. And now when we build a board, it looks like a not one facility, but multiple buildings in a sprawling.
And the good thing, yeah, it's not, everything's not all the same, so it's not like, it doesn't look like it was all done at the same time. Like, it looks more organic that way, I think, too.
Right. We're not playing paintball in a warehouse. This is a kind of lived-in world where, different buildings were different, purpose. So, yeah, and that would look dynamite. Especially on our board, a lot of our stuff looks that kind of like, hey, this has been going on a while.
Yeah, ours is pretty drab, yeah.
Yeah.
We also have some more concept shots from the Star Saga. Rob Jenkins is on Facebook under Jenks, is his art. And these ones are colored by him, but the lines are by Roberto Cirillo. And the first one's the sumo guys that were just introduced in Dreadball 2. There's a hero called Otasora, and he's got almost like an Oni mask and a big gun, and it's a nice red and gold coloring there. He's pretty cool.
Yep. I've seen the Dreadball team being painted, and on miniature war painting actually, and he went with a red and I think red and silver scheme, but with the same green skin and stuff. The Dreadball team looked pretty good, like the models themselves. So I'm looking forward to seeing these kinds of things coming out.
Yep. And then there's the Crone Mother, who's a different type of brood mother. And if the miniature looks as good as this, I think we'd be impressed. She's like, looks even more feral. She's almost half, what are they called? Night Terrors. She's got all the blades all over her. And she looks a lot more combative than the regular brood mother.
Yeah. I can't tell if she's cybernetic because she's got hydraulics in her tail. Mm-hmm. And looks like cables down the legs, or if it's just armor or something. But if the model looks anything like that, because a lot of the Veermen are kind of portly progenitors, they're kind of stubby legs and so a nice dynamic pose like that with a juxtaposition, like a kind of like a moly progenitor, but then this monstrosity, way better than the Piper already. I haven't even seen the model. I know it's gonna be better than Piper.
Yeah, she's cool. I like her a lot. And that's the best thing about Star Saga, is we're getting all these alternate sculpts to be used with Deadzone. And down the grapevine, we have heard that all these characters and all the Star Saga minions and everybody is going to be coming out as a separate list. It might even be in that book that's coming out. That'd be nice to get those guys in there too. Because, everything in one place, people. Might as well. And last but not least, this might be the biggest news, Jack. Georgie the Goblin. He's got an elite list now, and it's out. And the link is in the show notes.
Wait, Rob!
You're not Georgie. I can tell.
No, that was me. I'm the Rich Little of the Deadzone podcast, and I was doing a Georgie impression. Hopefully for a moment, just a brief moment, the listeners at home thought, "Oh my God, they've got Georgie on the."
He's not allowed on this show because Coach has to keep him on a short leash.
Yeah, I suppose so, but for a moment, I hope there was a small glimmer, much like a kid who kind of knows Santa Claus isn't real, like is old enough to, but then like Christmas morning gets the butterflies, like maybe just that one last time, that one last year. It's like a little. I hope the listening audience thought perhaps Georgie had made an appearance.
Yes, you can find him on team building exercise, interrupting Jack constantly.
That's true, and yeah. So we don't have any news about Georgie. We just decided to bring him up.
No, he said he has his elite list is out.
What?
You weren't listening to me again.
I was, but I just wanted to make sure we circled around. This is infotainment. I had my yucks there, but we have to make sure that the audience knows. We have to make sure the information gets out.
Yeah, I think next show we'll go over the list and talk about it. And I know probably won't come out until after Adepticon now, just because of scheduling. We'll have the team building exercise for Georgie's list. But we will go over it next month to discuss all the different things in said list. But please, go look over it. People are so excited about this already. I personally have no opinion. I could care less about Georgie, but a lot of people are excited.
He is a fan favorite. He's, I think, probably going to eclipse you and I. In probably the next 6 to 8 months, people will forget about us. We'll be dust, but Georgie will live on. He'll be an icon. So I can see why people would be interested in the list.
He is like a cockroach. You can't get rid of him. He'll just keep coming back. But,
what about the way I had set that up? Said I'm going to knock it down by calling him a cockroach. Like I threw to you this eloquent, nice. He's like a cockroach.
So, anyways, that's all the news. It's been a lot of news. I think we went through a lot there. We missed some over the break, but hopefully we got you all caught up. We'll take a short musical interlude because there's no more ads thanks to our Patreons. Or patrons? I don't know how to say that. Anyways, Jack, throw it to the music.
And
choose a song.
Oh.
or continue to do what you were going to do before I interrupt.
Play the music.
No.
Hey, this is Jack from the Deadzone podcast, and you've been listening to the Deadzone podcast.
With Jack from the Deadzone podcast.
So much Deadzone podcast, it'll make you vomit.
And welcome back to the Deadzone podcast.
You forget what we're doing? Do you almost say team building exercise?
No, I almost said Deadzone the podcast.
Oh, you almost said the wrong thing.
then I was like, I can't. It's been 4 years of saying it the other way.
See, that's how rusty we are. That you almost said it correctly.
That is true, and I'm not going to say correctly. I'm going to say the way that some of our branding is labeled, not the way I was originally told. Nigh on what seems like a lifetime ago.
It's been like almost 5 years, I think, now at this point.
Yeah, the very first Deadzone podcast. And I would say probably in the top 5 that Mantic recognizes as podcasts.
Oh, they don't know who we are. There's proof they don't know who they are because they actually retweeted our unboxing video of the Crazy Box.
Ooh. Well, that
so
shows
obviously they never listened to that because we were pretty harsh.
They didn't listen to it because we were not thrilled.
But anyways, we are on to the Patreon section here.
At one point, you were just throwing miniatures over your shoulder in disgust. There's no way that they would have had listened to that and went, "That is good. Our marketing team needs to get on top of this. We get ahead of this with this the wind of fragrant flowers and pleasantries."
Yes. It was, don't bring it up. It's just going to bring me down. I was happy until now, Jack.
No, I apologize. Oh, wait, Rob!
No more Georgie.
You're so sad.
No, not even fake Georgie on this show.
Oh.
I'm putting my foot down.
Okay, well, that is no more Georgie in any iteration.
Patreons. We do have a new set of Patreons, or patrons, who have signed on to onto the ship of the nameless Top Hat and Monocles Club. And you know these names, Jack. They are the nicest people on the planet. It's Bill and Sue Foreman.
Well, as soon as you said the nicest people on the planet, I knew exactly who you were talking about.
Yes, they've signed on, and you can check out their terrain building on their own YouTube channel called Terrainaholic. You can search for that, or we'll have a link to their channel in the show notes. We cannot thank them enough. They are awesome people, and keep doing what you're doing.
For sure. And I do implore you to take a look at their channel, because the last video that really I saw, Bill had built a Mark II version of his like abyssal board. Oh my God, it's so gorgeous.
Yeah, like with lava. It's like floating rocks with lava flowing down. And
yeah, do yourselves a favor. Stop. If you're on YouTube, stop watching this trash.
Well, thumb it up and comment, but then stop watching.
Okay. You whore! Yes. Then go and take a look at that video.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And we have some more shout-outs. We have a shout-out to somebody on the Facebook group of Deadzone Fanatics. They posted something. Well, their name is Grower Prophet. I have a feeling that's not their real name, but they posted a cool version of they used the Battlezone terrain to create some cargo containers. They used the long sides, the ones that are they're used for diagonals, right? The longer pieces of plating. I think they're were they from the armored section or maybe even from the landing pad? There's ones that were longer than normal. And they use those plus some corrugated doors to make some cargo containers, and they look great.
They do. I've seen the doors made like that with the angled hinges on different things, but it really adds an extra dimension that they're longer. They look like cargo containers. And yeah. What did he put on the front of the doors to make it look like a keypad?
Yeah, I don't know. Is that something from... I don't know if that's his own devising or something from somewhere else, but that looks great. It might even be something from Star Saga. The terminals kind of have that kind of stuff on them. But, yeah, very cool. And it's, I always appreciate the inventive use of the battle zones, because people have had them so long, it's always neat to see new stuff being done with them.
Yeah, that was the best part of getting it, because almost immediately people were letting their imaginations run wild. And before I think we even got ours started, I was seeing stuff that was blowing my mind. So that's good. And it's still to this day. Look at that. You can plunk those down as scenery pieces anywhere. Any board, those will work. Yep.
Yeah. Great idea. And the next one's something I saw that you liked and shared is from Dave Johns, and it's a bunch of Veermen.
I protest. I shake my head thusly. I did not. No, sir, I did not.
Anyways, this is a tunneler, 2 tunnel runners in the Tangle, and they look pretty cool.
Yeah, his tunneler.
If you were going to like and share these things, what would you say about them, Jack?
I would say that his tunneler looks just like mine. Like just a couple variations on, say, the blades in the front. He added some the trim at the bottom of the copper color, but very much like mine. Like if you were to put that one beside the one I did, it would look like the same Veerman, like the same rat clan. And even the tunnel runners have this, like, very much my aesthetic right there. Dave and I think are long lost brothers.
Simpatico.
Yes. And we were just talking about the tangle, about the struts going off the sides, and you can see for yourself in resin. It's pretty thick, but when you look at the progenitor on the top there with that little tiny, the one we got was made of metal, and I immediately
spear.
Yeah, that staff, and I immediately changed that arm out because that was going to end up broken. That for sure.
Yeah.
So
yeah, in resin, that staff would be snapped instantly in Jack's. He would just have to look at it, and it would just be like explode into a million pieces.
Yeah. There'd be fragments, and so I think I stuck a pointing arm on something nice and sturdy. But yeah, that looks nice. That was right in my wheelhouse.
Yep, I just started painting my tunnel runner, and he looks nothing like this. So,
well, they all can't look the same.
And the only difference between your tunneler and this one is yours has a lot more rust on it and like rust effects, and yours looks like it's been used. This one's like the new version. They bought a newer version, and yours is being retired soon.
But really, the drill bits in the front are the same color with the same just amount of dirt on there. The cowlings are about the same color. All the same elements are there, and even the gun inside, I think, has a little patina on it, or it's a green. Look, it looked so much like mine. But you're right. The one that I painted was left out in the rain one time. They went, "Hey, shouldn't we have 6 of these? What? Where's Jim? Jimmy Scrambles? Where is he?" And then it's he's just outside in the rain, all the rust all over the place, and
he's just smoking up or something outside. Jimmy, get in here again.
Doing donuts.
That bastard. We only let him in here because his cousin is Georgie. Oh wait, wrong group.
Wrong group. And how far does the banning of Georgie the Goblin go? Like that was you referencing him. Is that allowed?
But it made no sense. It'll probably get cut out anyways.
Okay. Only Georgie non sequiturs are allowed.
Okay. The next thing is Jeff Burbage. He's at his tablet again, I guess, because he's doing some more 3D print designs. He's done others. He did different versions of the Forge Fathers or Forge Iron Ancestors arm. He did because one arm wasn't available for a long time, so he did that. And he's also done the different crates tops for the old resin crates, and now he's done the twin magma cannons for the Iron Ancestors. And he's got a few concepts here he's doing, and I like how big they are. Like that's how a Forge Father should look: huge arms, overpowering weapons. I really like the look of them. Almost
like BattleTech Marauder. Am I right? I'm not the expert. You're the
Yep. The old school version, not the newer version, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So not only was I not so sure that I was right, but you also then had.
Well, they got sued. Somebody's going to sue somebody.
Oh,
but
yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yes, very cool.
That's good. He did the Twin Hailstorm an arm.
Yeah, that's the one I was trying to think of. Yeah.
And it had that pattern on the because there's a flat panel it's not a panel, but it's not functional either. It's got a design on it. Either way, it looked just like the model. It had everything was good. And I don't know. When's your 3D printer showing up? You can start knocking these things off.
Yeah, I can't wait. It's once again summer, I think. So I'll be definitely looking into this kind of stuff.
You say, Jeffrey, do you mind if I get a copy of that there file? I want to print.
Well, he does put them up on. He puts them up on Thingiverse, I think. So they're all available for free. So he puts them out.
Oh, well, there you go.
I believe that's where they are. If you can, Jeff, if you're listening, please contact us if I'm wrong, but I think that's correct. And also we have Chris Larson, and he's done Georgie in his first recruit. He's got the prancing goblin as Georgie, and then he modded up another goblin with a rifle to be Georgie's first recruit for his team.
Obviously, the prancing goblin, like that's got to be. I think originally that was who he was supposed to be, but now it's not only Georgie, but he's starting to. There's a Georgie family, like a bat family.
Yeah,
where you start start adding people to.
Yeah, we got to start naming these guys. I think that's the key.
That's his first recruit. Now, what model is that?
That almost looks Bones to me
because of the base.
The white. Yeah, the white color in the base, it looks Bones, but I'm not even sure.
Well, I don't want to let the cat out of the bag, but we're gonna have to start proxying some hobgoblin models. So
yeah, we might have to go through the. I'll have to go through all my bones, see how many goblins I have. I don't have many because I think I avoid getting them, but we'll see. We do need some hobgoblins and goblins. Although I think we have enough goblins, we could probably, like unassembled goblins, we could have modded up a few of those guys into other things. Well, you've already done it once before.
That last box we got had about 3 or 4 of them in there, so.
Yeah. And now let's move on to our stuff. Jack, please tell me you've been working on something.
I wish I could, but to be honest, I don't remember the last stuff we discussed, and I don't remember doing anything. No,
You refuse to have our stuff?
I'm just...
I'll tell you, last stuff we put up from you was your tunnel runners, and I think that was it, yeah. Tunnelers and tunnel runners.
I think
so did you do anything since then?
I think I put the finishing touches on the murder birds, but I don't know if that's a...
Yes, I don't think we showed off your murder birds. So, you did do them. You finally finished them because they got put on the back burner after you had so many other things to do. It was a Veerminathon or something.
That's right. I had them just about ready, and then I realized on some of them I'd forgotten to do the legs, and then I was like, okay, I'll leave them on my desk. And we were doing hobby hangouts pretty consistently, and every time we did a hobby hangout, something else popped up until finally the Mantic, the avalanche of plastic had ended, and I wrapped them up. But as far as I know, that's that.
Yes, they look cool though. You didn't do the littlest birds because you didn't like them, but you did the big vulture and the big eagle. Big eagle's very American, very patriotic.
Yeah, something like I would wear on a chain around my neck during the 80s. and then the one with the multiple birds on a piece of terrain, just kind of
I like that one a lot.
Hanging out. All of them are of those 3. Those are pretty neat, and I don't know how many people have them, but I other than the ones that we have, I've not seen them. I haven't seen anyone do. If you have them and you've painted them up, I'd love to see them, but I think they've got to be kind of rare.
Yeah, they were a special edition on the Warpath Kickstarter, I think. So, yeah. I think it was Warpath, or was it maybe even Infestation? Might have been Infestation. It was that long ago.
Yeah, because it was Murder Birds and Bursters, so...
Yep. Insert the theme song here.
Well, our next musical break, when we go.
There you go. Good idea.
Oh, see? I'm not just a pretty face.
That's true.
I know you've got me on the show just to shuck and jive to, I'm your dancing monkey to entertain the masses while you slip in some information every once in a while. But every once in a while I can come up with a little gem, just a little nugget.
Yeah, it's true. Once in a while I'll let you get some stuff in, but don't make a habit of it.
Oh God, no! I'll end up like Georgie, being completely cast aside, ostracized.
For my stuff I've been working on, I just wanted to preview. I happened to find on Chinese Amazon called Alibaba Express some mechs because I was looking for a replacement to try to find a version of a stunt bot, because obviously Mantic refuses to make the stunt bot, and we can't find them anywhere. So I bought this set of, it had like 35 mechs in it for like $20, and they are really Chinese knockoffs of like tons of other things, but one of them, or there's actually two in the box, works almost exactly the right size for a stunt bot. I have some comparison pictures here, and I have one standing next to Jack's Strider, and it's just slightly taller, and I added a chainsaw and the flamethrower. I cut it up and added it on, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome. China, you're helping me out there.
Yes, those 8-year-old children, your 10 cents a day served Rob well.
Yeah. There was also a bunch of other mechs in the box. One of them looks like a, what are they called, Terminators or something from some game that I don't know. And there's another one that looks just like the hoppers from Dust. And very similar to all these other IPs. Right down to the arms. Like the one arm on the one robot, I have it next to one of the Dust hoppers. And man, it's exact same.
Yeah. But to be honest, you've liked mechs since, the dawn of time, and you weren't going to be able to pass that up. The fact that they kind of look like other properties, especially like the Dust one that you have like that, you couldn't have passed it up for that price.
No, and I have no qualms about giving China some extra money, so I don't think they have enough. I'm helping out their economy.
Better than OPEC, I suppose.
And once in a while, these things do come back up. It's just a box set. And if you do need some random mechs for your games, this is the place to get them. Go China. Other than that, we'll take that musical break. Let's hear some Murder Birds and Bursters, and then we'll be back to wrap this puppy up with some more stuff to talk about.
Yes, let's get this over with, shall we?
Murder Birds and Bursters.
Welcome back to Coach and Friends, and today I'm joined with Roberto and Jeek.
Welcome back. That was Murder Birds and Bursters. Buy the LP out at all your fine Sam Goody stores.
Yes. Purchase that LP at your local record store.
Or rent them at Blockbuster. Yes, we did some battle reports. We actually did a lot of battle reports. We played a few games over the holiday season.
Yeah, with the holidays, we were able to get some games in for fun and enjoyment. And we hadn't played in a while. Last time we played together, I don't know, but
yeah, it's been a while. But the first game was Rebs versus Forge Fathers. I was playing Rebs and Jack was playing Forge Fathers. Neither of us ever play these factions. But it was just a chance to try out the new Striders. We hadn't really used Striders before. So I had 2 Striders and you had 1. I think that's the way it worked out.
Yeah, with the new rules for Striders being able to ambulate over things now, they're too good to pass up.
And I did take a bunch of sphere lancers and some snipers. So I was glass cannon, and Jack was the ever tank. He was tanking it up there because it got to the point where I stopped shooting at his Iron Ancestor because I knew I couldn't hurt him. It was like literally impossible to damage him.
But speaking of tanks, the Forge Father tank is in that first picture is just hanging out on the edge of the battlefield.
I don't know. I think we were going to put it on the battlefield and forgot about it. I think that's what happened.
No, I brought it out for a whole other reason. That sounds silly. Probably should not be shared, but
it was the naked pictures. You were recreating the famous Playboy. I think I've already done this picture though, so maybe I should think of another famous naked picture. I was thinking of the Burt Reynolds one, but I think I already did that as a special picture in the podcast.
Oh, yeah, you did. You did.
So, yes, you were covering your genitals with a Forge Father tank. That's where I was going.
Okay.
Yes, so I had my Sphere Lancers were shooting the hell out of Jack's Forge Fathers, and I think I did roll like crazy. And I rolled really well, as I took a picture of the one roll with tons of 8s to kill your Forge Father leader. One shot at him. Yes.
And the punishment that I withstood here, I endured a pretty big pasting, and that really affected my team building exercise, which just happened. The one that we recorded after that happened to be the elite list, and so your Lancers had left such an indelible mark in my soul.
That's right.
That my team building exercise list fully. It was cathartic, actually. By making that list, I was able to let go the horrors of what your Lancers did to me.
Also, I found that just because I had extra points, I threw in a lot of just humans, and they actually worked really well. I was surprised. I think we discussed that on team building exercise, how surprised I was that the humans did so well. But yeah, other than the other highlight of this one was that your Forge Father guy jumped on my Strider, so we had some Strider on Strider action.
That was my mistake, and it cost me, I think, quite a bit. The game went from, hey, this could be even, to me really. I went for the glory of a Strider on Strider battle because I thought that'd be fun, but
you could have. What you did eventually is run your Strider up and just punch the crap out of all my Lancers, because that's what eventually you did, and you just destroyed them.
Yeah. Coach.
So if you had done that like a round earlier,
yeah, Coach would have went for the Lancers, whereas I wanted to just see Strider and Strider violence, and tactically it wasn't the right call. And eventually I did wisen up, but
the damage was done.
But let's just scroll through these pictures. It's been a little while, and we got some damn fine looking Striders. We got some damn fine looking miniatures.
Yep. And actually, the very last picture, you can see the wounded. At one point, the Strider kicked a Forge Father off a building and broke his base off. You can see him laying there on the battlefield.
If I remember correctly, you were picking up the Strider to move him, and he slipped out of your hands, and because I had said, "Oh, he's going to jump on him and crush him," and you're like, "Ha ha ha!" You drop
smash
and smash right off the base.
But he was repaired, and the Rebs did win 21-15. It was actually a pretty good fight. It was fun, but yeah, just the Sphere Lancers and the Snipers able to shoot up the place was pretty good. But it was a fun game. Forge Fathers are tough to kill, but when you get lucky, you can kill them.
Well, and that's the thing with the Lancers. They've got the my first mistake was thinking that the Lances were heavy, so my first moves were kind of not tactical. And secondly, they've got the AP, and that hurts on the Forge Fathers. If you're playing against some other factions without armor, okay, it's a waste. But Forge Fathers, it really does.
Yeah, I could have played against a Plague or someone, and it wouldn't have mattered. But against Forge Fathers, it was a good effect.
Yes,
and we do have to thank. Once again, looking at these pictures, we have to thank Mod Cubes for all the tokens. That's what those little skull tokens are. They're from Mod Cubes.
Yeah, if you're looking at that going, where did they look at those? Those are some damn fine looking activation tokens they got there. It's a skull with a cog around it or a gear. Yeah, we purloined them from the Mod Cubes booth at Adepticon last year. And
so yes, when eventually Mod Cubes version 2 is coming out, hopefully soon, and when that happens, we'll give him some shout-outs because, yeah, we stole a lot of activation tokens. I wouldn't say stole. He said we could take them, but
yeah,
we took a lot.
And then,
he was probably like, yeah, take one or two, and we took like handfuls. Our pockets, literally, we were days later finding these things in our pockets.
And I'm pretty sure one of our good friends found a bunch in his hood.
That's right. Tyler, at one point, we just poured a bunch into his hood as he was walking.
That's how we bid him adieu from Adepticon. Hey, buddy, see ya.
I forgot about that. That's funny.
It was a great time we had, we were just blowing it out, and then because we can't just, we can't let feelings, we can't let our friendship and stuff, we had to be jackasses,
Poured in a bunch of tokens.
So socially, men have been constructed in such a way by society that you just can't. We had to do it. I'm sorry, Tyler.
Well, this year, bring a hoodie. You might get some special prizes in it. You never know.
Yeah.
It's our new thing.
Yeah, might not be tokens.
It'll probably be crazy box contents, but still.
Yeah, it'll be dwarfs from just packages of dwarfs stuffed in there.
We should just staple our card onto these and just like walk around every time we see a hoodie. We'll just put one in. People won't notice, and they'll put the hoodie on. All of a sudden, a miniature will fall out and hit them in the head.
And they'll be like, "Hey, I got 6 of these in my crazy box. What do I want this for?" No.
Yeah.
But if I do see you rocking a Deadzone the podcast hoodie, I will be putting a bountiful amount of stuff in that hoodie as a thank you. So if you really wanted to go purchase one.
Who's the whore now? Anyways, then we did another game. This one was, just a small little game we decided to play over this was over New Year's, wasn't it? Yeah, it was because, we'll talk about the end of the game, but, we decided to do a 1,000-point aside game of Deadzone. It was supposed to be a 6x4 mat, but Jack's table wasn't big enough, so it ended up being like, I can't remember what the sides were. It was like, I don't remember, 6 squares by 10 squares or something like that, instead of 8 by 16. But yes, we did 1,000-point games. It was Enforcers versus Plague, because we both knew we had enough of those miniatures to actually play this game.
Yeah, without like, oh, I got this many items, like it, without puffing up the stats. We had enough points to do that. Plus more. We could have went bigger.
Oh yeah, for sure. But the way we did it was we had 1,000 points, but we had to make 5 strike teams up, 3 of which had to be legitimate, and 2 of which could be from made up of vehicles. Jack, I think, only made 1 of vehicles, and the rest were all legitimate. So I'll talk about my strike. My strike team was a strike team of enforcers with peacekeepers, with my captain as the leader. Then I had a strike team, a recon lance of pathfinders, and then I had another group of enforcers, and then I had 7 jet bikes and 5 striders.
Yeah, and we've said before, if you want to check out the pictures, check out the YouTube or look at the website. But I'm just going to say, to really appreciate a 1,000-point army of Deadzone, Rob's is not as big as mine, obviously, with all but that's
just seeing 5 mechs. Well, actually, there were so many that I had to use an Iron Ancestor as one of my striders.
And 7 jet bikes. That's something to see. Even just want to.
I had extra jet bikes. I could have put more jet bikes in, but.
Yeah, oh yeah.
The hardest part was color coordinating, because we had to figure out a way to, the way we played it, there was unit cohesion. So each faction, you activated a whole strike team before you could move on to the next one. And so we had to remember who was in each one. For me, it wasn't so hard. But once you see Jack strike force, you'll see why it was hard for him to keep track of who was who.
Yeah. Again, when I was thinking we would have the full width of the board, my plan was, okay, I can separate I had 2 units that had zombies as their troops, and I'll keep them on the flanks. And then there'd be no problem. But we knocked. I think it was
quite a bit off. Yeah,
6 squares off. Well, if you look at my table, it looks like we skinned a zombie, a morbidly obese zombie, and made a tablecloth out of it.
Yeah, that's a Mats by Mars. They specially made a Deadzone mat that's 6x4. We ordered it with the Deadzone grid on it, and it was pretty impressive. And it does look like zombie flesh.
When you see it in the daylight, it looks like Earth, like a Martian surface. In the half light of the evening, and even in the pictures, yeah, it does look like skin, rotting skin. But yeah, I my living room table there, I wanted to make sure I used every troop that we had in this army. So the army has bursters, murder birds. It has the 3As, the 2As. It's got the plague swarms, aberrations, the plague, everything.
Teratons, bursters. Did you say bursters? Dogs. And you also said that you want to use all mantic miniatures too, so that's why it was specifically not so many dogs, because a lot of your dogs are not mantic. So
right. And the only thing I couldn't get Weapon X into the mix. It's the only model I have that I couldn't squeeze in there.
The Unit 901 or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Subject 901.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game was crazy, and you can see the board. We set it up, and we even kind of themed the board. Like half of it was like the middle was all destroyed, but then one was industrial side and the other one was more armored side. And yeah, it was crazy. The main problem was my deployment zone. Okay, it filled up pretty quickly. It was pretty good. I had some room, but Jack's deployment zone was ridiculous.
Yeah. Once I started getting into teratons, I've got multiple teratons, multiple bursters, multiple, like a lot of these are big, and then I'm starting to move farther and farther. My deployment zone sort of spread out farther and farther, but we did a deployment thing where before we had to number which units in an order we had to deploy in that order. So that way there was no like, oh, you're putting your guys here, then I'm going to move here. And yeah, unfortunately I ended up with one of my slowest units up front, but that was part of it was part of the joy of this little experiment. This was like a prototype kind of situation.
Yep. And the game went on. Of course, my guys were able to shoot at good distance, so that really helped. We found out that we never realized it, but the plague striders don't have the same range as enforcer striders.
No, or abilities.
Yeah, and they can't shoot with crap. But it was
Yeah, we really saw the jet bikes, the ability to fly, the new fly ability. They were fast. They got up on top of. They were 3 or 4 squares high almost immediately. And it was something that the rules that have changed. That was really like, you know how that sounds like that until you actually see it and you go, oh. Wow.
Yeah, it was actually pretty effective. They're not great shooters, and their weapons are only, some. My had missile launchers that had AP, but they were heavy, so I couldn't move and shoot them. But my regular guys, yeah, they had pretty alright weapons. They had weight of fire or AP, or like I think they had an AP2 or something. But yeah, they're able to get up high and get the extra dice right away, and that really helped for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't OP, but certainly it forced my hand a lot of times, and literally you were just taking pot shots. You weren't expecting great things out of them. You were just like, okay.
Well, I was really focusing on your weapons teams because you had 2 or 3 mortar teams, and I knew those guys in this enclosed space. Those guys, if they got within range, I'd be in trouble. So I was really trying to take those guys out with those guys.
And yeah, and my teratons, the rest of my armies was plotting. Like I didn't even get into range to get into hand to hand, but my teratons and my swarms were able to, through teleporting and the agility. Were able to move up faster, so they were just like, okay, well, just peppering.
And that your one swarm got on top of one of my jet bikes, who I went a little too far. I thought I didn't count the numbers right. And, for some reason that jet bike was able to get away. He should not have survived. He shouldn't have survived the initial attack, and then he broke away and survived. It was ridiculous. Like, there was no way that should have happened. And that was kind of like the telling of the game. It was just, I was on fire that day with just rolls. Like, it was terrible. Like, and we also started drinking. That was another main point of this thing.
But really, that wasn't a big deal. Like, the jet bike surviving was fine, but you were doing exactly what I hoped you didn't. You'd moved up real fast. You were just pepper potting, with the jet bikes and taking pot shots, and then you just spread out on all the rooftops on your half, and I had to keep going forward. So I was just going into the meat grinder, just hoping to. I was just moving forward.
And the game went good, and you were getting in within range, but then, like I said, we started drinking, so I think we about 2 hours in, and it was about round 3, I think? Round 4, maybe?
Yeah, something like that.
So, and it was just about to be the point where you would have, all your guys were getting in position to swarm me, and that's when we had to go because we had some plans for New Year's. So,
yeah.
We actually never got to the point where the plague got to destroy my team, but...
Well, yeah, it was just, I think the next round I could have started engaging if you didn't pull back, and the 2 more rounds, and then it would have been then it would have been a game. Then it would have been like a game of Deadzone at that point.
Yeah.
But
I had softened you up enough that it would have been a pretty good fight.
I think so. It would have been
because it was getting to the point your stage 3 started shooting at my guys and pinning them down, and it was about to really cook off, and that's when we had to go.
Yeah. But now I'm looking at a picture of my guys glowing. That's nice.
Yeah, I was about to mention that Jack, some of his guys have blacklight paint on them, so he had a blacklight and showing them on there, and they looked pretty amazing, glowing. So that was neat, the green glow on all these guys. But then there's your one Strider. He had glow in the dark paint, so you shot the blacklight on him, then you turned it off, and he was glowing like a freaking madman.
Yeah, ever since
it looks like a Photoshop effect.
Yeah, kind of. Ever since I painted my first miniatures, my skeletons, every miniature I paint, most of them glow in the dark. That's just me. That's my deal. And that's a lot of miniatures.
Yeah, it was a really good game. I thought it was fun. My Striders were doing well. I think who was the heroes? Yeah, the jetpikes were the heroes. I know all my one whole unit was snipers and pathfinders with tag, and they all shot at one Terraton for like 5 rounds. They were like, I don't know how many times they shot him, and they finally killed him, but it took forever to kill that one unit, and I was like, oh god, if you get any more of these guys, and I know your bursters and your aberration and your stage 1 were getting closer, and I was like, oh, I'm going to be in trouble if those guys catch me.
Yeah, but conversely, you were taking zombies out, their vulnerability, they were falling by the way, so I was going to be troopless by the time I got in the race.
Yeah, it would have been your big guys versus all my guys trying to shoot you before you could count them. And in the end, alcohol won. That was the end result of this game.
Things were learned. If we did something that scale, I don't think we would.
I think we're a little too Icarus. 1,000 points aside was a little much. I think 700 or 800 or 600, somewhere in there, would have worked a lot better and had probably similar effect. We expected the board to be bigger, so that's why we thought for 1,000. So, yeah, your deployment was just so funny. You're trying to fit all your guys on there, and you're just like, okay, I have to put this guy somewhere. Okay, he has to go over here.
And we scaled for victory points. We scaled up from Deadzone, but we didn't put any objectives down, so it didn't really scale up. We failed in that regard, but
yeah, we'd have to figure out this scaling better, because I think we said like 70 points or something, and I think I ended up killing like 10 points, and it was just like, well, this is not correct. Like whatever our scale was, it was not right.
Without the objectives to get those numbers up quickly, Rob would have had to kill like 99% of my army to get that stuff.
Yeah. We actually counted it up later, and we're like, oh yeah, your whole army's only like 78 points.
It was something like that, because my dead pile had grown considerably. So he was
But it was all zombies with
he
zero.
was marking on 2d10, and then he was like, "Wait a second!" It dawned. Wait a second. Let's just see how much. Let me see how much your army's worth. And then we were like, "Yeah, but it's got to be to the death now because without objectives to get like an extra, possible 3 or 4 points every round or whatever."
And also, I think even a scenario where if I was in the middle or something, then you were coming in from all sides, and I'd have to choose where it was coming from or something. That might be more fun. But it was fun though. It was a fun game.
Yeah,
like you'd think that point levels you'd get bored, but it was very tactical. We were trying to figure out, okay, where are we going? You're trying to sneak up, and I'm trying to get lines of sight. And amazingly, there was times where I'm like, I cannot see this model. You're like out in the open, but there was so much terrain in between.
It had a whiff of version 1. Where you had to think, you had to plant some people in a spot so that no one could get past, and there was a lot of planning. It wasn't just smashing against each other. We had to kind of, it was a bit more refined than the Deadzone of today. But the only thing I didn't like about the game, and it had a lot of effect on the speed of the game, and it really did. Affect the enjoyment was Battlescribe, the way it lays out I love Battlescribe. I don't want to talk crap about Battlescribe, but with that many models, Battlescribe's layout is very sprawling and not in the order that I would prefer. In fact,
and we couldn't print it out because I think your army was like 20 something pages.
Yeah, and it was
so you're trying to look at it on your phone, trying to find stuff on your phone, and it was way too small. I had a tablet, and even then it was hard to find everything.
If Battlescribe laid out a printable version or a PDF version the way Mantica does, which is, as far as I'm concerned, that is the way it should be.
I'm curious. I wonder if you paid for Battlescribe, would it do that? I
don't know.
Yeah, I wonder if that's just one of those things, because as it is now, for Battlescribe, you have to save it as an HTML file, then go into your browser and save that as a PDF to get the thing. Like, it's a workaround to save it. I wonder if you actually paid for it and you were able to save as a PDF, if it came out a lot nicer.
I don't know, but Battlescribe leaves big spaces, and it leaves pages, and
and it puts the specialists before the troops for some
reason. For a strike team, it's okay. It is what it is, and the convenience, the convenience of making the list outweighs But it was tough going through. Yeah. I don't know how many models I had. The model count was outrageous, and scrolling through to see. Yeah, that was the only real problem I had. It took a bit longer than.
Yeah, that's why it took as long, because there was times where like, okay, what's this guy do? You have to scroll through everything. And, okay, who's in this unit, or what's this guy doing? Yeah. That really slowed us down. For both sides.
Hey, what's the save of a burster? I go, I've never used a burster before. In fact, I still haven't, because neither of them got anywhere. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. He must have it in my sights. In his sights, I got to scroll through. So, yeah.
And then it's like, well, look in the book. Oh, it's not in that book. We don't have a hard copy of this book. And it's like, oh. So that's, once again, when we get that new book in the summer, that'll help with that a lot too. Because it was stuff like that where it's like, or the FAQ stuff, where it's like, oh, this changed. I know, this weapons teams. That's the thing where like, we're trying to figure out the saves for weapons teams or the movement for weapons teams. We're like, we have to find the FAQ. Oh, I don't have the FAQ on this. Oh, like that was the only problem. So once that book comes, that'll help that a lot. So that was, 1,000 points aside just to say we could do it. And, like, if you want to play a game over a weekend, like I remember when we were kids, we'd play Axis and Allies for, like, ever. Like, if you want a game like that, doing something like this, it was fun. Like, I could see doing that for sure. Next, we played, right after we got the game, we played Star Saga Game 1.
We did indeed. The first, like, the tutorial type game, the basics.
You only have one. Yeah, it's the introduction. You have just the one merc. You had Galinsky, and I was playing Nexus player because we couldn't do it co-op since there was only one merc. And you had to fight your way through a door, through some guys. And for like just setting it down and just starting to play? How easy was that game to play?
I know that we got just the basics of the rules. We weren't being tested at all, but within the first couple minutes, you just started. You got the order of the cards that you had to do was the hardest part.
Yeah. That's the only thing I always had to look up is the Nexus player had a certain order they could do things and what they could do when. And that's the only thing. And even then, by the end of the game, I was getting it down. Like, we only played, I don't know, it probably only took 4 turns, 5 turns, something like that.
Yeah. To break a game out of the box, read the rules right then and there, and just play the game. Did we do something wrong? Did we make mistakes? Yeah, probably. It probably wasn't.
I don't even think so because it was so easy. I don't know if there.
We did. We played and it's fun. And again, it was the basic one. We got the gist of it. I can see how a bigger scaled up version with more to do, with controlling each, a cooperative game, each person playing with 2 guys, and what could be thrown at us. It's got potential.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to play some more games. We'll keep talking about it as we play them in our ideas, especially co-op once we start playing that. And I do love in that this demo game we used our one model that came with no arms. We used him as one of our security guards.
Did you address that with Mantic head office?
Yes, they just contacted me today actually asking me for my address to send me a replacement. So
so
we'll see if when we get that. But it was quite funny. That's one time we do a demo and we had to use the guy with no arms.
When we pulled him out of that box and we look at him, of course he's got no arms. Of course he doesn't. I bet you thousands of perfect, everything in the box, everything is perfect. The 2 people who can just natter into a microphone. We've got an audience that's I'm not gonna toot our own horn, but it's more than 10 people.
Horn.
And we got the defective one, and we had to
Yeah. Well, we at least get to report on how fast Mantic replaces them.
That is true. That's a silver lining to that dark storm cloud of life.
No, Star Saga was not the dark storm cloud of that unboxing.
No,
I was very happy with Star Saga.
That they had its own. Had its own.
The storms rolled in after that.
You just hawking those miniatures over your shoulder in disgust. It plays over the radio. I've listened to that podcast since, and you can hear it. You can hear the joy at first, and then
it wanes.
You become a little more dour, and then you can start hearing the miniatures just hitting the floor over your shoulder.
Well, needless to say, at Deadzone, there will be a Deadzone the podcast, grab what you want box of miniatures.
You keep saying that, but we're going to have to try and get a box full of crap across the border. Do you really...
That'll be fine.
Do you want your rectum fingered just so that you can make a point of hurling doors into people's hoodies?
Oh, do I?
You keep sweetening that pot.
Yeah, that's right. Where's the downside? Well, on that note, I think that wraps up this episode. I think this might be a little long one. It's good. It was a good post-holiday long episode. Lots of news to get through. Please, if you do come to Deadzone, buy our stuff and wear it there. We do love, last year, the person who came in 3rd place in Deadzone tournament, he was wearing our shirt. We're very proud of that.
Yes, young Todd.
Yes. And you can go to cafepress.ca/Deadzone podcast, get all your shirts and hoodies and accoutrements. And also, if you do love us, because I know, but someone has to love us, go to patreon.com/Deadzone podcast, chuck it $1. Or anything, because we do love you, and we want to get up to enough money to do the Deadzone TV on a regular basis. We do have to do another one of those soon for free anyways.
Yeah, we gotta, first time's free. All the cool kids are doing it. We gotta, much like a guy in a trench coat heading into a schoolyard, we have to display ourselves in order to get the, to get the children salivating.
I'm hoping that's a drug reference more than a Flasher reference. That's all I'm saying.
Why not both?
He's naked, but he's got inside of his jacket, he's got all these drugs.
Yeah.
I think I found the picture for the YouTube.
Good. That specter was looming over your head. What can I do? What can I do? Now it's there, all in its glory.
And on Team Building Exercise, where it's our last one of our elite lists, is The Plague, with Simmons elite list. I've already made my list. I don't remember what it is, but I'm sure it'll be a good one.
It'll have Simmons.
Yeah, we know that much. Spoilers, Jack. Come on. And after that, next month will be February, and then after that, it's Adepticon. So we hope to see many people at Adepticon. We know there's quite a few of you who listen that are going. Definitely come say hi. Definitely get some games in with us. We're going to be there a long time, so come say it. I know Beetle's going to get some games, pre-tournament games in with Jack. And me, I guess, but mostly with Jack. Jack's a good teacher. So.
For the cost of one hug, I will be available for all his gaming needs.
And anybody else who wants to play, just hit us up. We're going to take over that area. I think we're going to be upstairs again where we were last year, so we're just going to take over. And if they try to kick us off tables, we'll say, "Don't you know who we are?" and Jack will grab Coach's medal around his neck and shove it in that person's face.
I'm not going to live that down, am I?
If Tyler can't live down spilling a drink all over Jeff Burbage's mat, you're not going to live down almost beating up a bouncer.
A drink?
Well, what do you mean? It was a drink.
Yes, but the can...
Or Merlot?
Thank you.
Sorry. And, so there you go. Adepticon. It's where memes are made.
Yeah, that is true. Ask young Andrew.
Also, if you see Andrew, ask him about Georgie the Goblin. Also, ask him to see some memes. So there you go. Until next time, I've been Rob.
And I'm Jack.
Thank you for listening to Deadzone the podcast. We'll be back.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Deadzone podcast. I have been your announcer, William Randolph Wintergreen. Visit the website, deadzonegame.podbean.com. Email your hosts at deadzonepodcast@gmail.com. On Twitter, you can follow the show at Deadzone Podcast. The Deadzone Podcast is a production of Vinland Old Time Radio Productions.